The story for today is this marketing agency hired two completely different marketing strategists. One person was doing the marketing, essentially. Another was doing economic studies. The problem was when the company filed these two H-1B applications, they put the same LCA number, their job number, on both of them. The company, well, our firm, we filed two separate LCAs for the company. But when they were putting the application together, they actually filled it in incorrectly. But it was filed around July. One case got approved, great. The second case got a request for evidence. The request for evidence stated, hey, the LCA number you provided is already used up. So please submit a new one, or please provide proof that you submit a second one. This was extremely stressful for everyone involved because, well, it was already past the time to file new LCAs. We couldn't file a new one. We couldn't file an amendment because if you file an amendment, you need to file a new LCA. So those were the traditional paths to solve the problem. Couldn't be done. The only option we had left was to file the response saying, please, it was a mistake. Please forgive us. We did file two separate LCAs for two separate positions, and both got approved, but it was just a typo. In this administration, cracking down on H-1Bs, cracking down on positions that don't have a necessarily wage level 4, right? These were both just wage level 1, entry-level marketing positions. And it's marketing positions. In Trump 101, when they cracked on H-1Bs, with his first term, they canceled almost all business analysts and marketing agents and marketing analyst positions. Like so many H-1Bs in 2017, all got denied. Previously approved in extensions got denied. That was how crazy when there's so many lawsuits. When we filed it, there was so much stress, but this was the way we got it to work. We contacted the service agency. We talked to the tier 2 officers multiple times, explaining the issue, seeing if they can put it into the system and if they can correct it, right? We did it for both cases. Because you know what? When the files were submitted, the two H-1B applications had two separate LCAs embedded in the application. It was just the form that there was a typo. So we did submit it correctly, but because of the typo, now it's potentially denied. But thank goodness we just got a request for evidence and it wasn't directly a denial. It could have been a direct denial because form mistakes, oftentimes it's direct denial. However, USCIS should be adjudicating the case not just purely on the form, but actually on the underlying facts of the case with the two correct LCA numbers. If one LCA is used, how do they track the second LCA? So there must have been some sort of USCIS internal memo that's tracking how many LCAs have been applied for and how many have been used. And they've been using that database. And we need to correct that database, but nobody knows where that database is and who corrects it and how can you correct it? Should the first officer correct it or should the second officer correct it, right? Because the first officer already inputted the LCA, but then the second officer is now supposed to go back and change the LCA. Does that affect the first case? A lot of questions, nobody had answers. We reached out to AILA, the committees and the liaisons and the mentors. Nobody had a good answer. The solution we came up with was to contact the service center, tier 2 officer for the first case, input it into the system. Hey, the LCA was incorrect, but we did submit the correct one. We contacted the second service center, tier 2 officer. Please correct it, adjust it, and we're going to file a response. We filed the response with a clear table of the different LCAs and different numbers and another clear table of a direct contact to the CEO of the company, to the attorneys that's working on the case with their direct cell number and their direct email. So the officer who's adjudicating this H-1B case, when they see it, they say, okay, it is all corrected, but you have now direct access to the CEO and the attorney that can explain everything if you need to. It's not one of those, if you have any further questions, please reach out to me at my firm, sincerely and just a header, right? That's what everybody does, but now it's big and bold. Like, this is really important to us. We're giving you direct access. If you have any questions, feel free to call. And we have seen that work in the past. I've gotten so many calls from USCIS directly or from the consulate directly because they want to check something instead of writing out something super long, send it and adjudicate. Sometimes it's just a phone call. To them, it's a matter of a button. They press a button, case gets approved. But if they have some further questions, by doing it this way, they can directly contact you. And I've been very appreciative of that with the government, and the government had responded in kind. And again, this case was approved just like last week. We're very happy to share that. And again, this was a solution that nobody knew about. And so we want to share that with you. And that's the H-1B success story for a marketing analyst with a typo on the LCA. If you have any further questions about H-1Bs, feel free to reach out. Take care. And by the way, this was Grace's team's work, right? They spent their entire team this past month working on this case, contacting so many things just to make sure it was successful.